Greetings all, this is Hairy Nick.
And this is always Harry Justin.
It has somehow been a year since we've done one of these, and it's depressing. We're getting old and time is just flying by at the speed of light, much like the Millennium Falcon. It's a busy time of year. I work in sales, so I'm quite tired right now. Speaking of sales, let's talk about some buying guides for you people wanting to buy gifts for your X-Wing playing friends or someone you want to get into X-Wing or just for yourself, because sometimes some self-love is a very, very good thing. Retail therapy, we love it.
We do.
So, basically, we're going to go through the listings here we have on FFG's site, just like we did last year, and talk about the pros and cons of everything, and just, work out the best things to sort of approach this game, because there is quite a lot of products these days.
Yeah, and it's only going to get bigger.
That's it. Just one thing we want to address before we dive into this. Yes, there have been some recent delays and cancellations on some of these products. I haven't mentioned it in any other videos, so I think I'll mention it now, just for the sake of having the discussion. The Raider, which is one of the epic ships for the Empire, and now the First Order as well, as well as Saul's Renegades, has been cancelled. Yeah. I would assume that they're going to come out eventually. I don't see why they wouldn't. It doesn't really make sense not to have them in the lineup. Apparently, FFG was having some issues with their printers, and not only that, but they had to delay Wave 6 as well. Look, if they must delay, or rather cancel, two separate products, they make the most sense, because they're things that we sort of already have access to. Saul's Renegades, you can just buy the first edition version of, and you get all the second edition stuff. In fact, they're just repackaging it and selling less components in it. So if you can still find a first edition version, just get it, because you get all the stuff anyway. Yeah. With the Raider, it's a bit more annoying. I do feel bad for new players, because it does make it difficult. It doesn't seem to be the easiest thing to source right now.
No, to get it, you wouldn't... Well, to be able to fly it in second edition, you would need the first edition Raider.
Which most people getting it may already have anyway. The problem is for newer players.
Also, just quickly,
yeah,
with the first edition, it comes with two large bases, but with the Epic Conversion Kit, you get a new special base.
Yes,
as well.
You get one of those things. So that's fine. So you need to get that conversion kit. Otherwise, it's not really practical to play with it at all. Look, just a general comment I want to make over this kind of stuff. FFG, sort of unofficially through one of their Discord channels, mentioned that, hey, we have a lot of these in circulation already, so this is the one we decided to cancel. We haven't been able to find any, so we're not sure how true that is.
I know that there's a Gazonti somewhere around this area. There's a local shop that has one. Yeah. And there's a couple of Sea Rock cruisers. Yeah. I haven't seen a Raider.
It could be at the manufacturing level, at the wholesale level. What they're saying is essentially someone's got a warehouse full of them somewhere. Yeah. Look, I just want to say, if that's true, that's fine. Look, I totally understand cancelling this, because there's not really a financial incentive to do it. Printing a expensive product like this en masse and then not selling it is financially disastrous. Yeah. So while it's not a good situation for us consumers, I completely understand FFG's decision there, if indeed that's true. So for those of you who want to get it, consider getting the conversion kit and the Raider. And if you don't think that's reasonable, then don't play Epic. I mean, I don't think... No one's really forcing us to in the end of the day.
And even then, you can still play Epic without the Epic ships.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I just think these are all things to consider. Weigh up your options, weigh what's best for you. If this cancellation makes it unrealistic, that's fair enough. But at the end of the day, I think what FFG has done is probably the best of several bad scenarios they could have. That's all I'll say on that. But let's talk about what is available, because we have a whole heap of stuff. First of all, a special mention to some of the stuff that's coming out in January. We're getting Wave 6 and these new damage decks. Now, damage decks. I only wish they were coming out in December, because I actually would recommend damage decks as a gift for someone. Yeah. Any X-Wing players that don't have those kind of things, just those nice blingy options. You can get like these new templates and shrouds and damage decks. And I think out of all of them, I like damage decks the most.
Yeah, and especially the damage decks are only $5, so it's something that you can just put in a stocking or something like that. It doesn't have to be an important gift.
That's right. Most people play multiple factions, so I'm sure there's one faction that they play that they don't have a damage deck for. In terms of what's available, even if the damage decks were available, there is the option of entering into the game by buying a damage deck, a set of dice, and some rulers. In fact, let's just bring those up on the screen for you guys to see. So a dice pack, for example, is $8. The rulers is $20, and the card pack is $5. So it's about $33 all up. The starter kit is $40, and I would say, in general, if you want to get someone to the game, get them a starter kit. Don't try and get all the components separately.
It is the best bang for your buck.
Absolutely, because you get 3 ships as well, and you get a whole heap of relevant upgrade cards, and you get a rule book, all that kind of stuff. For a new player, I think that's the better option. If you're an older player who wants to re-enter into the game, and you know exactly what faction you want, and you want the blingy options, get the separate components, absolutely. But that's a very specific situation.
Yeah, the second edition starter pack does come with some additional cards that you can't find in any other packs.
Very good point.
There's Instinctive Aim. I'm not sure about any of the others.
Some of them are quite important. Like Afterburners isn't unique to the pack, but it's a very important upgrade nonetheless.
Yeah.
A lot of the quick build cards in other packs need cards from the starter pack because they assume that you already have them. That's how the game's designed. It's designed around the fact that you already have a starter pack and you go from there. So that's just one thing to think about. It's not crucial. It is not absolutely required. But for most new players, it's where you probably should be starting.
Yeah.
Let's close up those accessories and core sets and take a look at some more options here. So conversion kits, I think in general, not really what you'd be buying as a present for someone. This is more for the existing players that want to upgrade their first edition stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty much enough said about that. There's not any advantage out of this. I would say there's a bunch of good upgrade cards in each of them, but now we have a better option for that, which we'll talk about in a second. So we'll leave those to one side. They're not really in the discussion today. We have all our separate factions here, so we'll go through these one by one and just talk about these and what's good, what's fun, what's competitive. First of all, the First Order. We don't have Major Von Reg's tie out yet. That's going to be in Wave 6, hopefully in January.
Yeah.
But we do have the TIFO, the VN Silencer, and the SF, and all of these are seeing meta play.
Yeah, in fact, if you buy one of each of those, you've got a list.
Pretty much. And if you want someone to get into the First Order, you can literally just buy one of each of them. What would that be? About $60 US?
Yeah.
Probably about $100 or thereabouts here in Australia, something like that.
Yeah, give or take.
Yeah.
Maybe 90 if you're lucky.
It really depends on which shop you get them from. But that's pretty decent. And look, if they want to buy more FOs or SFs, probably not more silencers. There are not many multi-silencer lists going around, but
yeah, there are occasional 2 of, but
it's a good base. It's a good base to launch yourself from. The other ship that's seeing a non-amount of insignificant play is the Upsilon class shuttle. Now there is no release for this yet in second edition. I don't think it's required as being part of the First Order.
Yeah, you can get away with it. I mean, it is a good ship.
Absolutely. One thing it is worth mentioning here, if you get a few of these and you go, I want to fly an Upsilon, you have to get the conversion kit and a first edition Upsilon, which is not financially a strong decision. One of the cool things about the conversion kits as well is if you know other players, if you go to your local game store, and you absolutely should if you play this game, you can ask them to, hey, can I borrow these parts of this conversion kit, or can we split a conversion kit? Something that's a lot of players, we've done with a few different things. It's a very good thing to be able to do because there's lots of components in a conversion kit. It's not bad value, but you just get so much, and you don't want to be buying multiple conversion kits, especially just for one ship. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. But these other 3 ships that are available are absolutely worth looking at. As we said, roughly one of each makes up a list. You could probably get another TIFO or something like that, but just getting the 3 of those is a great launching point for a new player. Moving over to the Galactic Empire, we have a couple of things that really stand out here. Apart from anything else, in the core set, you get 2 TIE fighters.
Yeah.
So that is a great option for new players. In terms of what is here, apart from the core set, that is competitive right now, we're mainly looking at the TIE Advanced X1 and the Inquisitor's TIE.
Yeah.
The Inquisitor's TIE right now is the big one. If it was available, it would also be the TIE Interceptor that's coming out in Wave 6 in January as well. Also seeing a lot of meta play. Also legal in hyperspace, so it's legal in more different tournaments, something that we talk about in other videos on the channel. We won't go through that today. But those 2, in terms of meta play, are probably the most relevant. However, I got to say, there is one thing here that I know when you saw, you were like, oh, I got to have one of those. That's what got you into X-Wing anyway.
Yeah, the VT-49 Decimator.
Yes.
That is the ship. It is the Empire's answer to the Millennium Falcon. It doesn't handle anything like the Millennium Falcon, but it looks super cool.
Yes. It's not seeing an insignificant amount of meta play. Rear Admiral Shenru is actually relevant in a lot of things, but apart from anything else, it's a great casual ship as well. It's so big and tanky, and it's survivable, so for newer players, you actually get to fly it around and shoot with it a bunch before it blows up.
Yeah,
There's so much health.
Also, the cards that are in the pack, you get stuff like 000 and BT1.
Yes.
It's really good.
Indeed, some really good handy cards in that. Really fun pilots as well. So, yeah, bottom line for competitive, I'd be looking at the TIE Advanced X1 and the Inquisitor's TIE. For more fun play, the Decimator, even the Striker and the TIE LN, but probably to a lesser extent on those ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And the new ones when they came out, absolutely. Moving along to the Galactic Republic. Okay, something that last year we had a discussion about and like, oh, it's coming out. It wasn't out yet. We now have squadron packs in the game. More to the point, we've seen what you get in them and how relevant they are in terms of meta play, and I cannot recommend these enough.
Yeah, you really need, well, maybe not so much with the Galactic Republic, but having two of them is pretty handy.
Yeah, it's pretty good. The Galactic Republic Squadron Pack comes with 2 Torrent Fighters and a Jedi Starfighter, which is the basis of so many meta lists. In fact, if you buy that alongside a Jedi Starfighter, that is a list. Anakin, Obi-Wan, and 2 Torrents is very meta viable. As well as all that, all these other ships see play.
Yeah, the Naboo just looks really pretty and it flies really well.
Love the Naboo Starfighter. Arc 170, the new Y-Wing, or the old Y-Wing, I suppose.
Yeah, I actually, my brother's been playing the Y-Wing recently. It's a lot of fun.
Indeed. The Republic is really meta viable right now, and they're seeing play with lots of different styles of lists. You really can't go wrong, but for the new player, that squadron pack is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You want to get someone into that faction, maybe they've already got a core set and like a couple of other ships. It's a great place to start. Strongly recommend that one. Okay, let's move on to our next faction. Nope, we have neutral expansions.
Yeah.
Not really giftables. It's kind of like the conversion packs.
No, see, I reckon you could give the epic battles.
Yes, to someone who's already
yeah.
Not necessarily epic, but already has a nice amount of squadron. This is more a casual thing you can do for kitchen table X-Wing. Comes with some nice different rule sets, wing cards and templates, so you can do some fun stuff. It's more for the established player, though, I would say.
Yeah.
But a great option if you're into kitchen table X-Wing. These card packs as well, again, more for established players. When they come out, absolutely a good option, but not just now. Moving along to the Rebel Alliance. So again, with the original core set, you do get 1 X-Wing, but in terms of everything else going on here, there's a few little fun options. I will say, just as a word of caution for someone just blindly going into this, the Ghost in particular is not really doing all that well right now.
No, which is a bit sad. But it does come with 2 ships in it.
It comes with the Sheathopede this time round. Yes, they changed it this time. Which is not doing great. It was amazing in the first edition, but...
they nerfed it hard.
Now, it is very fun. I will say that again, just like we're talking about Decimator before. It's a very, very fun ship to fly, but it can be very frustrating. In terms of like good, fun new ships for a new player, I think the Falcon is absolutely more interesting in terms of that conversation.
Yeah.
It's meta viable and it's a lot of fun to play. So for someone, you just want to get something that you know they're going to enjoy, it's a great option.
Yeah, you get the Millennium Falcon, you give them a starter pack as well. That's a list.
Yeah, an X-Wing and a Falcon, not really that sort of heavy hitting in terms of the meta, but completely viable. I mean, Han and 1 A-Wing used to be a list, so you can mess around with like Lando, Luke, and all that kind of stuff. There are things you can do there. Apart from that, you got your 3 other small ships. More X-Wings are always good. The Rebellion can always use more of those. And the X-Wing expansion pack does come with different X-Wing parts. I believe Wedge comes in this one, and Luke comes in the core set.
I think that's right.
Something like that. And they're all pretty relevant in terms of their pilot abilities. Y-Wings and B-Wings, they're all right.
If you've got the Millennium Falcon, B-Wings are great because the Millennium Falcon comes with...
Leia Organa, very good point.
Yeah.
Yes, I actually flew recently against someone flying a Falcon and 2 B-Wings with Leia. Ooh. Very, very brutal. Very cool list. Yes, I think the key things we're looking at here is the Falcon and the X-Wing. I think for someone new, just starting out, wants to explore different options, that's a great option. The B-Wing is actually going to be receiving a sort of a quasi-fix soon because of the Ace Pack coming out. It's going to have foldable S-foils like the X-Wing. We don't know what that's going to entail right now. So maybe if you're a new player, just hold off on the B-Wing just for a little while, see how that goes. Also, for a semi-established to an established player, we have a Tantive 4.
Yeah.
That's a great gift.
Now, the Tantive 4 can be played on both the Rebels and the Republic.
That's it. Yep.
So, if they're also a Republic player, also just maybe have a think about that as well.
Very good point. Apart from anything else, for $100 US, you get a great model. Like, it is...
Yeah.
That's one thing I've always liked about X-Wing. Like, the price of the models alone isn't horrible. I've seen way worse than some of the costs of minis.
Yeah.
$100 US for that is... Yeah, it's great.
It is looks... about... Well, let me bring my hands in.
That's it. Let's just do this.
Yeah, about yay big, and it's nice.
It's very nice. It's a very, very nice ship, very nice model. We're going to get A-Wings soon, but that's okay. We don't have to worry about those just yet. Yeah. Moving on to the Resistance. Again, everything available is pretty much viable. More than anything, the A-Wing is the one seeing all the meta play in multiples. So.
Yeah, I think you need... Is it... two? You'd need at least 2 of them. You can run up to 4 or 5.
Yeah, something like that. In different amounts. It's actually crazy how good this ship's doing right now.
Yeah, this used to be 2 A's and 2 X's, didn't it?
Oh, something like that. Yeah, there's been a few. Look, this is probably the most difficult faction to buy into as is, because you give someone an A-Wing, it's not a list. You give someone even one of each of these isn't really a list. I suppose you could theoretically do that.
I have no idea.
Yeah, but
I don't feel like it'd mesh very well together.
What is really meta viable right now in terms of Resistance play is multiple A-Wings and X-Wings in some kind of combination that really comes down to the player's preference, and that makes it so difficult to buy for.
Yeah. Also, the Resistance is also missing the Heroes of the Resistance expansion, which was an X-Wing and the Millennium Falcon.
Yes, indeed.
So
also the Bomber. We don't have a second edition release yet.
Oh, yeah.
That is problematic. Now, I will say that the Falcon and Bomber basically see no meta play, so you're not really missing out from that point of view. But if you want something fun to play with, especially that Bomber, that is a lot of fun for casual lists.
Yeah. Oh, and Ray on the Millennium Falcon.
It is. It's frustrating to fly because of all those red maneuvers.
Yeah.
I love it, though. That's my own preference. I will say, when the Fireball comes out, that looks like it's going to be so much fun.
That's going to be fun.
A very difficult faction to buy into, especially as a gift for newer players. Look, you get one of each. You could get 2 A-Wings, 2 X-Wings for $8 US. That's not crazy in terms of viability. If that's the kind of price point you're comfortable spending.
2 A's, an X, and the transport, I reckon, would make a good list.
Yeah, you could do that. That'd be $9 US.
Yeah.
They're all good options. I'm rounding, by the way. I'm not counting those 5 cents.
Yeah.
I never do. Let's go over to the Scum Villainy faction, which has quite a bit available so far.
Yeah.
Hasn't seen a new release in a little while, apart from the Jumpmaster and Skick, but no new ships for second edition.
No.
Now, once again, if you get a core set, you're not going to get any Scum ships to begin with. There is one very easy way of buying into this faction, and that's buying Slave 1 and a Fang Fighter. That is a list. Fen, Rao, and Boba. Fen, Boba, and Guri Boba, oddly enough, actually doing okay right now. I have no idea why that is, but I'm not going to complain about that. And they're both really fun ships to fly. Just really ultra aggressive, really tanky. Great stats. I love this faction so much. Yeah, and in terms of everything else going on, buyer beware, Zeds and Skicks aren't really that great right now. As in the Z95 Headhunter and the M3A Interceptor. Yeah. They're just a bit meh right now. They don't really do anything in terms of meta play.
Yeah. You've got the Lando's Falcon. That also does come with the escape pod, so you are getting 2 ships in that.
Absolutely. A great, fun, casual ship to fly. Doesn't see insignificant amounts of meta play. Although I will say recently at the World Championship, it didn't make the cut, which is actually kind of strange because it usually makes 1 or 2. Lots of really good upgrades. And yes, as you said, the separate ship, that little ship has seen so much meta play because it's just a little ship with coordinate that just follows the big ships around. Very, very powerful. Mining Guild tie as well. Very, very powerful indeed. Jumpmaster, we're really struggling with this ship in second edition.
Yeah.
I think it's okay. I think look, Dengar is semi-viable, but in terms of what we're seeing in numbers, it's not that great. It's quite frustrating to fly. I think in terms of just giving something fun to someone, Lando's Falcon, something that people actually want to take to a tournament and try and do well with the Slave One. Those are probably the two key ones I'd look at. And once again, for an established player, we have our Sea Rock Cruiser, which is a great option.
Yeah. Also, again, Sea Rock is also on the Separatist list.
Indeed. Let us move on to the Separatists, speaking of which. Once again, we have a squad pack, and once again, it's exactly what I'd recommend for the new player.
Yeah, in fact, if you can get 2, if you really want to go out of your way, 3.
Sure,
Yeah.
if you really want to. The interesting thing is, we do have Vulture droids in that pack and in a separate expansion, but none of the unique Vultures in either, or even indeed the unique upgrades, really see all that much meta play.
No.
It's really the generic Vultures that you get in both, which is what it's all about. Energy shell charges, grappling struts, you get all of those in both packs, so that's good. That's good for new players. You get some of the more fun ordnance in the Vulture pack with the probe droid and the
Discord missiles.
Discord missiles with the buzz droids and all that kind of stuff. That's in a separate pack. The reason for that is they need the extra cardboard, and there just wasn't any space in the squadron pack to fit that in. Right now in terms of meta play with the Separatist, a whole bunch of Vultures and a Belbalub or a Sith Infiltrator, pretty much top tier. We're also seeing 1 Belbalub, 1 Nantex, and 1 Hyena as a list. A weird kind of 3 orbits floating around.
There's also just 2 Nantex and the Belbalub as well.
Yep. That's true. Yep, there's a few different options. Basically, you can't go wrong with this faction. Once again, it's seeing a lot of meta play. This faction won the Australian Open that we went to just over 2 months ago now. Jeez, how time flies.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's been about that long. But absolutely, in terms of new players, look at getting the Servants of Strife. If you're a really, really generous relative, get them a Servants of Strife and a Sith Infiltrator. They will love you forever.
Oh, yeah.
Not really a list per se, but you can do a lot of fun stuff with all those different options and sort of go from there. Last thing we have here on FFG's website are these game mats, and they're always a good option. I will say, a lot of different companies make these.
Yes.
I have one that's aftermarket. I think Ultimate Guard made my one from memory.
I think so.
Yeah, something like that. Oh, it's in the other room somewhere. And they're usually a little bit cheaper than FFG's one. They're not licensed Star Wars mats. I think here in Australia, the FFG ones are usually like $70 and the non-licensed ones are like 50, 60.
You can get them on sale every so often.
Yeah, you can, but the same with the other mats as well. It doesn't matter. You don't need something with the Death Star or Yavin in the background. You can just use generic Starfield, and frankly, I think that looks quite nice.
Yeah.
I actually, just on a personal note, I'm not a fan of the FFG ones. I don't like the half-planet thing. I think it's a bit visually jarring. They're printed very nicely, though, I will say.
I think the best ones are probably the Death Star Assault and the Death Star 2. For me personally,
I like Starkiller the best.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Actually, that does look good, doesn't it?
It just sits nicely. It's not too visually jarring. I mean, that's what I like.
Yeah, I've got Bespin, and it just doesn't quite the angles.
It's kind of weird, like the viewing angle, how Bespin, the crowd city shouldn't be that big, that kind of stuff. If you go for some aftermarket ones, there are great like Starfields and Nebulas and that kind of stuff, which look awesome. Just one word of caution, I'd say, for new people, just make sure it's not too visually stimulating, so you physically can't see your asteroids. Some people play like on asteroid belt ones.
That would...
Which is insane.
Mess your head up completely.
I will say most of those examples I've seen have been from YouTube videos where people are actually playing X-Wing, and it probably looks a bit better in real life, like the asteroid actually stands out. It's still not something I'd recommend.
No.
And there also are certain places that can print them as well. I have really wanted to get like... what's that? Where do the Protectors live? It's not on Mandalore, it's the other one. The planet that's been shattered in half. I really want that as a playmat.
Oh, that's gonna hurt my head.
Yeah, look, I'm sure like in post I'll put the thing in front so we can all see that. Also, Prince Jizor's Skyhook as a playmat would be awesome. These are things you can do. If you can find good quality prints, you can get someone to make those off, and those would make amazing presents.
Definitely.
For X-Wing players, especially like EU fans.
Concordia.
Thank you very much. See, we got there before the video ended. Yeah, absolutely. Those are some strong options. Apart from that, like aftermarket tokens and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yes. Aftermarket tokens, very nice.
We never get sick of them. Crablock has a bunch of merch as well, which you can use for in-game stuff. I believe he also makes some t-shirts as well, which have X-Wing related stuff on them. Yeah, some really, really strong options. In terms of like stuff for the game, those are what we'd recommend. That's directly from FFG, but there are tons of other options. In the comment section down below, if there's anything we've missed, any like other aftermarket products you'd like us to have a chat about, just let us know. And look, I'll make a pinned comment with all of those, so anyone who has missed out on those can have a look as well, and we can all share some love and share some things, and yay capitalism. Anyway, I hope that was helpful for all of you looking for Christmas presents and or whatever present-based holiday you celebrate in your part of the world. In the meantime, do not forget to like and subscribe. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Reddit. Also, we have a Patreon here on the channel. Very relevant right now because the YouTube ad revenue is in severe danger because of issues going... Yeah, because of YouTube, because of Google especially. But the child protection laws that are coming in may just make the ad revenue untenable. I'm not even exaggerating that right now. So Patreon, more than ever, is a very important thing to supporting not only us, but other YouTubers as well. So, look, I'll have the links for our Patreon down below, but if other YouTubers that you watch and support have a Patreon, please go and consider doing it. It is a seriously big deal right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll catch you all in the next video.
Bye.